In today's class, we will be discussing the control and coordination in plants. As we all know that plants do not have any nervous system, nor do they have any sense organs like eyes, ears, nose, etc. like animals, but still they sense the things. Okay, how do they sense the things? They sense the things by the presence of stimuli like light, gravity, chemicals, water, and touch, and they respond according to them. Okay, the plants coordinate their behavior against the environmental changes by using the hormones, and the hormones in plants they do not behave, they do not act the same way as in animals. The hormone in plants coordinate their behavior by affecting the growth of the plant. Correct? So we can see the plant hormones. These are naturally occurring organic chemical substances present in plant which bring about control and coordination of various activities in them. So beside growth, they control various activities like promotion of dormancy, falling of leaves, breaking of dormancy, etc. And these are synthesized in minute quantities, in very minute quantities, in one part of the plant body. Okay, not in all the parts, but in any one part of the plant body, and it simply diffuses to the another part, and there they can influence the physiological process. Like the hormone auxin is synthesized at the shoot tip, and it where the growth is necessary, it diffuses to that part only. The plant hormone controls the coordinate the activities of plant by controlling one or other aspect of the growth of the plant, like the way it is behaving towards the sun, or it is behaving towards the towards water, how it has, like shoot is always moving up and the root is always moving towards the gravity. Okay, and the growth of the plant can be divided into three stages. This is cell division. First is cell division, correct? First of all, the cell will divide, then the cell enlargement will take place, and the third thing is cell differentiation. And these three stages have particular location in a plant. All three stages, as well as the promotion of dormancy and breaking of dormancy and falling of leaves, fruit growth, etc., these all are controlled by the hormones. You know what is dormancy, and like I'm saying now, promotion of dormancy and this breaking of dormancy, like when the seed is formed, it is in the dormant form. So this what is dormancy? The resting inactive condition in which metabolism almost stops is called dormancy. The seed of a plant is inactive or dormant. So this we call as dormant seed, because seed is always dormant, and first of all the dormancy has to be broken, then only it can germinate, okay, into a plant. Next thing is, we have seen that the plant hormones are responsible for all the changes or growth in plants. So what are these plant hormones? Okay, there are many, like auxin. One is auxin, then gibberellin, and cytokinin, ethine, and abscisic acid. Okay, so like these all are these all are very important, and we have to discuss each and every one. So first of all, how auxin behaves. So auxin is responsible for the cell enlargement and cell differentiation. Okay, and then it promotes the cell and fruit growth as well, and it is responsible for the tropic movement of the plant, how the plant is growing, that is also done by auxin. So it is promoting the cell enlargement, cell differentiation both, and it promotes cell and fruit growth, it promotes the stem and fruit growth and for the tropic movements. And next is our gibberellin. It promotes the cell enlargement and cell differentiation in presence of auxin. How it is working? The auxin is there, then only the gibberellin will be working, and it will promote the cell enlargement and cell differentiation. Okay, it promotes growth in stem and fruits, correct? It stimulates the stem elongation. Main function is the stem elongation and seed germination and flowering, correct? So the main things are like auxin is also promoting the cell enlargement and cell differentiation, but gibberellin is also doing the same, cell enlargement and cell differentiation, but it is doing in the presence of auxin. Okay, so main thing is the gibberellin is responsible for stem elongation and seed germination and flowering. Then it is our cytokinin. It promotes the cell division in plants. Cytokinin is mainly responsible for cell division in plants. So it promotes the growth. It helps in breaking the dormancy of the seeds. If the seed is dormant, it helps in breaking the dormancy of the seed so that the seed can germinate now. It delays the aging of leaves. Okay, and promotes the opening of the stomata and promotes the fruit growth. You see, cytokinin, everything is done here, like whatever is related to cell division, all the works it is doing that is related to cell division, like help in breaking the dormancy of the seed, delays the aging of the leaves, and promote the opening of the stomata and promote fruit growth. Okay, next is ethene. The work of ethene is like it promotes the growth and ripening of the fruits. Main thing is, for most important thing that ethene is doing, it promotes the growth and ripening of the fruit. First of all, the fruit will be made, but the ripening of the fruit and growth of the fruit will be done by ethene. If ethene is present, then only the fruit will be ripened. It helps in breaking the dormancy of the seeds. Correct? So, in breaking of the dormancy of the seed is done by both cytokinin and ethene. Okay, but the ripening of fruit is done by ethene. Okay, then is our abscisic acid. Abscisic acid, the function of abscisic acid will be it promotes the dormancy in seeds. That means it brings the dormancy. It brings the dormancy. The seed is growing, but a stage will come when the growth has to be stopped and the seed has to become dormant. So it will inhibit the growth. It promotes the closing of stomata and promotes the falling of leaves. These you can see here, abscisic acid is closing the stomata and cytokinin is responsible for opening of the stomata. Okay, and abscisic acid is responsible for falling of the leaves, but cytokinin delays the aging of leaves. Okay, so you see, I think this will be helpful for you. And let us see one more thing, how this auxin works. Okay, let us see how auxin works. So auxin hormone controls the plant response to light and gravity. Okay, plant's response to light and gravity, etc. So it is responsible for the phototropic and geotropic response of the plant. It is made at the tip of stem and root. Sometimes the question may be where it is made. So I have written that it is made at the tip of the stem and roots. So when the light is coming from one side of the plant, so I have drawn a little small figure here. So if the light is coming from one side of the plant, auxin diffuses towards the shady part. Auxin will diffuse towards the shady side of the shoot. This concentration of auxin stimulates the cell to grow longer on the side of the shoot, which is away from the light. Thus plant appears to bend towards light. Okay, so you got this. So here I will explain this way. Okay, you see here, when the sunlight is above, sun is above, so sunlight coming from the above, so how the auxin will behave? So when sunlight comes from above, the auxin hormone present in the tip of the stem spreads uniformly down the stem. It will come down uniformly, and there are two sides, left side and right side. Due to the equal quality of auxin on both sides, A and B, on both sides there are equal quantity of auxin, so both sides of the stem grows equally and the stem grows straight up. Correct? In this case, when the sun is above, so auxin will diffuse down and on both the sides equally, and both the side of the stem will grow equally, and the stem grows straight up. Okay, the stem will grow straight up. But in the next case, when the light falls on the right side of the stem, okay, when the light falls on the right side of the stem, here the light is falling here. So what will happen? The oxygen will diffuse to the left side or shady side of the stem. Okay. So you see, all the oxygen is diffused to this left side, away from the light. It will go away from the light. As more oxygen is present in the left side of the stem, the left side grows faster than the right side. So this side will start growing faster because oxygen is here. So this side will start growing faster, okay, than the right side. Therefore, the stem bends towards right. You see here, this way, this thing, the left side become longer, and the right side is shorter. So it appears like the plant has bent towards the sun. Okay, you got this thing? How oxygen behaves, how oxygen works. Now I have to discuss the type of movements in plants. And plants are stationary, they do not move. And we all know that plants are stationary, they do not move. But there are some movements in plants. So we all have to we have to discuss these things. So the plants are fixed at a place with their roots in ground, so they cannot move from one place to another. That is, plants do not show any locomotion or movement of the entire body. So however, the movement of the individual parts or organs of the plant are possible when they are subjected to some external stimuli. That stimuli can be light, force of gravity, chemical substances, water or touch, etc. These movements of the plant parts are usually caused by unequal growth in two regions by the action of plant hormones under the influence of the stimulus. So this way, I want to say the type of movements in plants. So what type of movements the plants are showing? So one is fixed, like plant is fixed at a place, but the growth is happening. Okay. Now, in some plants you see the touch me not the plant which is touch me not, in that plant it is moving. When we touch it, when anywhere we touch it, its leaves droop. So why this is happening? That is also one type of the movement in plants. So let us see what all is there in the type of movement in plants. The first is tropic movement. This tropic movement is basically the growth related movement. The growth movement of the plant parts in response to an external stimulus, and the direction of stimulus determine the direction of movement of the response. Okay. So the directional movement of the part of a plant is caused by growth. This can be of two types. If the growth is towards the stimulus, it is called positive tropism, and if growth is away from the stimulus, then it is called negative tropism. Okay, so the example of the positive tropism we just have discussed, that plant is growing towards the sunlight, that is positive tropism, and the root is growing away from the sunlight, that is negative tropism. So we can say the shoot is positively phototropic and root is negatively phototropic. And if the growth is away from the stimulus, then it is called negative tropism. Like I said, the roots are negatively phototropic. Then is our nestic movements. One is tropic movement, and the movement shown, that is, one is tropic movement and the next is nestic movement. This movement is independent of growth. The movement of the plant parts in response to an external stimulus, but the direction of response is not determined by the direction of a stimulus. Okay, here the movement of the plant parts in response to an external stimulus, it may be our hand or touch, but the direction of response is not determined by the direction of the stimulus. So we can differentiate between these two, like nestic movements and the tropic movement. The nestic movements are non-directional movements. The nestic movements are non-directional, but tropic movements are directional movements. And it depends on the direction from where the stimulus is coming. It does not depend on the nestic movement, does not depend on the direction of the stimulus. In the nestic movement, plants change shape by changing the amount of water in them, resulting in swelling or shrinking. Okay, like I discussed the case of touch me not. In that, plant change shape by changing the amount of water in them, resulting in swelling or shrinking. But in tropic movement, plant respond to stimuli by growing in particular direction. And okay, done. The next one is these movements are very quick. Nestic movements are quick. Like the moment we touch the plant of the touch me not, it quickly droops. And the tropic movements are growth movements, actually they're very slow. And in the case of like example of the nestic movements are drooping of leaves of mimosa or touch me not, that is mimosa family on touching, and opening of the petal of the flower dandelion in the morning in bright light. Okay, when the dandelion flowers feels the sensation, feels the like morning sun, so its petals open up. And the tropic movement, the example of tropic movement is germination of seed and the circling of a tendril around a support. These are the example of tropic movements and nestic movements, and this way we can see we can differentiate both of them. Okay, one more thing we can use here, like what are the uses of this tropic movements. So we can write usefulness of the tropic movements. These movements help the plant to obtain water and nutrients from the soil and light from the sun, which are necessary for growth and survival. Because they are positively phototropic, they are negatively geotropic. So this way the stem is always moving up towards the sunlight, and which helps in doing photosynthesis and taking in carbon dioxide, giving out oxygen. So this way this is helping us. So tropic movements are helping the plants, and the same way the roots are growing towards water and growing away from the sunlight, that they are negatively phototropic, etc., and positively hydrotropic. So that way they are getting water from the soil, and this is also very helpful for the plants. Okay, so both the movements are important. Next is, and I'll discuss the case of these two, like touch me not and seed germination. What is the difference between these two? So when we touch the plant or leaves of this touch me not, it begin to fold up and droop. Okay, and the leaves droop, but there is no growth involved in the movement, and this drooping movement is not growth related. It is just a movement, and these are called nestic or growth independent movement. Okay, they're not growth related, they're growth independent movements, and these movements are very quick. Again, the seed germination is this is directional movement of a seedling that is caused by the growth, and it is called tropic or growth dependent movement, and this movement is very slow. How the movement happens in touch me not, let us see. So plant changes shape by changing the amount of water in them, and resulting in swelling or shrinking, and resulting in the change of the shape. Okay, this is nestic movement of the touch me not plant. And one more thing we have to see, we have to discuss how the tendrils cling to a support. Okay, this is a case of thigmotropism. Okay, thigmo means touch. So tendril, in case of tendril, what happens when it sees any support? So the climbing part of such tendrils, like pea, there's a tendril in pea plant, there's a tendril in like bitter gourd. So when it sees any support, okay, so which they happen to touch, and the moment they happen to touch it, they wind around it. When they wind around the support, and tendrils are positively thigmotropic. Okay, the moment they touch it, they sense it and they cling to it, and the part of the tendril away from the support grows faster. The part which is away from the tendril, the part of the plant which is away from the tendril will grow faster, and the movement of the tendril around the support is caused by the action of auxin hormone. More auxin is diffused from its site of synthesis, like which is from its tip, towards the side of the tendril away from the support. Okay, and As a result, the side having more oxygen grows faster than the one in contact with the support. Okay, this way the trundle of a plant is growing. Next is our like growth moment, how the growth moment is controlled by different tropisms. Like growth moment is how growth moment is differentiated. Like first is phototropism, and the stimulus is sunlight, and geotropism, the stimulus is gravity, towards gravity, and hydrotropism, it is movement towards water, and chemotropism is movement towards the chemicals. Okay, so in case of the phototropism, the stem is always positively phototropic and roots are negatively phototropic. These are also growth moments. And then is geotropism, is the stem is always negatively geotropic and roots are positively geotropic. And hydrotropism means movement towards water. The stem is always negatively hydrotropic and roots are positively hydrotropic. And chemotropism means the movement towards chemicals. Like it is here we can see one example, like growth of the pollen tube towards ovules in response of pollen grain to sugary substance secreted by the stigma of the carpel. That is chemical stimulus. Okay, so what we have seen here, the growth movements are of different types, like phototropism, geotropism, hydrotropism, and chemotropism. Okay, so we can see here how the chemotropism happens. So when a flower ripens, like in a ripe stigma, there is in a ripe flower there is a ripe stigma in the carpel of the flower that secretes a chemical substance. Here this is a pollen, here the carpel, here this is the carpel, and this is this is stigma, and this is style. So on stigma, it's the carpel of the flower secretes a chemical substance that is sugary into the style. Okay, into the style. Style is this thing towards the ovary. This sugary substance acts as a stimulus for the pollen grains. Okay, this sugary substance will act as a stimulus for the pollen grains which fall on the stigma of the carpel, right? Thus, pollen grain responds by growing a pollen tube. The pollen grain will start growing a pollen tube. It will be moving towards this chemical and towards this ovule in the downward direction into the style of the carpel and reaches the ovule in ovary for fertilization. Here, once it reaches here, it fertilizes with the ovule. This growth of the pollen tube in response to the chemicals secreted by stigma of a flower is an example of chemotropism. So you see, this is the example of the chemotropism. In this way, we have discussed everything here, like how the plant hormones are working and what is the functioning of the plant hormones and what is nestic movement and what is tropic movement. So in this way, the control and coordination in plant is happening. So next we will see in the next class. Thank you.